Hello, and welcome to Breast Cancer Conversations, a podcast brought to you by survivingbreastcancer.org. I am Laura Carfing, breast cancer survivor and founder of survivingbreastcancer.org, a nonprofit organization providing community, education, and resources to empower those diagnosed with breast cancer and their caregivers from day one and beyond. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Breast Cancer Conversations. I am so glad you are joining us today. We are continuing our series focused on real patient experiences, and today discussing Verzenio, a medication increasingly used in hormone receptor-positive breast cancer to help reduce the risk of recurrence. Joining me today is someone very special and not new to the SBC community, our dear friend, Jen Tipton. Jen teaches our Deep Flap yoga classes virtually here at survivingbreastcancer.org, where she helps individuals rebuild strength and mobility and confidence after a breast reconstruction surgery. Anyone is welcome to join. If you had Deep Flap surgery, fantastic. If you haven't had Deep Flap surgery, you can still join. She is fantastic. Her classes are amazing. And you can check that all out on survivingbreastcancer.org/events. So a little bit about Jen. She was diagnosed with stage 3 estrogen-positive breast cancer back in 2021. And her treatment included chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, endocrine therapy, and 2 years on Verzenio. We also talk about the role of movement and exercise and mindset, and how that played such an important role in helping her maintain quality of life, even while managing side effects. Jen, I'm so grateful for the work that you do in our community. Thank you for being on the podcast today and sharing your story. Welcome to the conversation.
Hi, Laura. Nice to see you again. So I was diagnosed with stage 3 estrogen-positive breast cancer right at the start of 2021. So my whole year of 2021, I was in treatment. I started with AC chemo and then Taxol. And then I had a lumpectomy, and then I went in later and got a double mastectomy with the DIEP flap. And that's the class I teach is for yoga for DIEP flap, anyone who's had that surgery. And then I had, 33 radiation treatments, and here I am.
I know, wild.
Yeah.
What happened between the lumpectomy and then deciding to do the full lumpectomy, if I can ask?
Well, they wanted to just go ahead and do that first. And I asked for the DIEP flap. So they said, let's just go ahead and get the tumor out, the big one. And then we're going to just go back and do the bigger surgery later. And I was like, fine, that's fine. Just get it out. So that's how they did it at Stanford over here. Yeah.
So I was priority, get the cancer out, let's get it out of our body and then move on from there.
Yep.
And so because you were hormonal positive, what was your aftermath like?
Yeah. So I remember when I was, with my oncologist, and he said, there's this new drug. It's called Verzenio, and it just recently got approved for stage 3. And he said, there are some side effects, but I really think it's worth trying. And he kind of just laid it out like that. I hadn't done any research or anything. And I said, well, I'll try whatever helps. And he said, you take it twice a day and it's a big pill. And the studies show that, its effects last for 2 years. So 2 years is when you would finish. And I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and try it. So yeah, that's what signed me up.
Wow. And so is this instead of or in addition to any aromatase inhibitors and or tamoxifen?
Also on the aromatase inhibitor and the Lupron injection monthly.
Okay. So 3 things altogether.
3 things.
Yeah. I was on an aromatase inhibitor plus the Lupron shot as well. And when my doctor told me at the time that I was going to be on these drugs for 10 years, I almost fell off the exam table. Because up until this point, like you were mentioning, 2021 was your treatment year. I was I can get through, 12 rounds of Taxol. I can get through 6 weeks of radiation therapy. I can get through. There was light at the end of the tunnel. But when they said 10 years, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone next year. How can I be taking this pill for 10 frickin' years? What did you have a similar gut reaction when you were being prescribed some of these medicines?
Yeah. And I joined some support groups and talked to a lot of women, and people do different things. People make different decisions, but I'm one of those people, if I can handle it, I'll just take it as long as they want me to. 10 years seems like a long time, but it's already been 4.
Wow. Amazing.
And I know women who are 7 years out and they're like, 3 more years. And I'm like, time doesn't fly, but it does pass by. And, we'll get there.
I was on the aromatase inhibitor plus Lupron. And then because I had a DEXA scan show that my bones were becoming more brittle, which I know when we deplete our bodies of estrogen, we can become osteopenia or osteopenic, which was my case. So my doctor decided to move me over to tamoxifen for some time. And I actually completed a total of 7 years on endocrine therapy. So I
Right.
will be your light on the other end because there is a
Oof.
day where they were like, oh, we could stop now. And studies were coming out based on my staging. I was 2B. I know you mentioned that you were stage 3, but the tumor size, location, all of these things, they were like, there is really no evidence of additional benefit between year 7 and year 10. So if you
Nice.
want to go off, you can. And I was like, well, isn't this a great option to have? But yes, I never thought I was going to get to that day, right? Of like being told I don't have to take these pills anymore. But I was very much so in a similar mindset of, you know what, we'll chalk it up. We'll deal with the side effects. Well, we want to keep the cancer at bay. So I am excited to hear, though, that in addition to all of this that you're on, you are adding Verzenio to this like maintenance plan, I'll call it. So
Uh-huh.
it's a pill that you're taking twice a day. Do you have like a schedule? Do you take it like mornings, evenings, lunch, evenings? Like how do you decide when to take it?
So I took it the end of 2021. I was going on vacation to Hawaii, and he
Mm,
said, start after vacation. And I was like,
great.
sure, why not? So I went to Hawaii right after radiation. I wore a full piece bathing suit with the arm sleeves and everything zipped up all the way to the top. I said, I don't care. I'm going to Hawaii. And then
Yes.
got back, started the drug. So I completed the 2 years of Verzenio. The first year, the thing is, I was right out of treatment. So I didn't notice the fatigue as much because I was already tired from everything. And, the other side effects didn't start until year 2 for me.
Mm, okay.
But it was manageable once I knew, I've already done a year. This is just another year. So I stuck with it for the full 2 years.
That's great. And how, it's interesting that after 1 year, like new side effects started creeping up. What type of side effects were you experiencing?
Like stomach upset, the big one they warn you about, the stomach upset. And it was pretty much after I ate anything. And I've heard this from other women too. And you just, your stomach's going to be upset. And then you just kind of plan around it. It's a weird way to travel and do things. And, I'm running around teaching yoga classes and running a studio and doing all these things and training clients. But I was like, okay, I just need to plan for this. And so that was it.
Wow. And
I mean,
that
I
sounds
figured I'd been through worse.
sure, sure. And so you didn't notice a difference with the types of food you ate. It was really just like any meal kind of messing up your digestion.
Anything I ate. Yep. And then I started some probiotics to see if that would help. And it does help some women. I don't know. I just kind of dealt with it. And then the 2 years were up. And then once I got off of it, I felt amazing.
Really? That's
I
amazing.
did.
Tell me.
I I had so you don't notice how you feel until you either feel really good or really bad, right?
Mhm.
And I just was like, wow, I have so much energy. My head is clear. I just wasn't wiped out all the time. And I was taking it in the morning and in the evening. And I would take it, when I was traveling, and I would just take my little, the big cardboard box. That's a huge waste of packaging.
Isn't that amazing how, like, once you stop something, how you can just feel better and you're in it, right? So you don't necessarily realize you're like, oh, there's just these side effects. But I also think, and this happened to me, and I don't know if it's just like a female trait or the situation, but I'm just like, oh, this is just how life is. This is just how I
Uh,
feel now. And it's
mhm.
not until you start taking and eliminating some of these things that are causing the fatigue or the tiredness or the foggy brain, that you're like, wow, I didn't realize how bad it was when I was in the thick of it until
Yep.
it changed.
Yep. So I'm excited for my 50s because, hey, once I'm off all these drugs, I'm going to feel fantastic.
Oh, it's something to look forward to. I love that.
Yeah.
I know, and it's so hard. You and I are very similar in that sense of like, being thrown into what I call medical menopause, being on the Lupron shot, having to take these pills. There, I guess, like any like mental side effects in terms of having to take an aromatase inhibitor or one of these Verzenio CDK4/6 inhibitors on a daily basis. For me, I know it was like, okay, I'm going to take this every day because it's like keeping the cancer at bay. But then at the same time, it reminded me every morning that like, oh gosh, I had cancer and now this is just like part of my life. I was like this dichotomy of like, you're helping me, but you're also like driving me crazy.
Yep. Same. I mean, the Verzenio I think was worse because it's this big yellow pill. But after treatment, I think there's that fear, that just this fear is still there. It doesn't go away. It lingers. I think it's almost worse because you're not in chemo anymore and nothing's happening and you can't keep track of anything. So it actually gave me peace of mind to know that I was taking this really powerful drug that would like shrink tumors or keep them away. And I thought, okay, it gave me peace of mind in that sense. Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
advice do you have for anyone who's listening and they might not be at the 2-year mark yet and they're dealing with all of these like GI issues and stomach upsets and tiredness? Like words of wisdom, advice, or sanity can you leave them with?
I would say just keep moving. I mean, when I worked out, exercise, walking, yoga, whatever you like, okay? Whatever you like to do that keeps you moving, that does help. It does boost your endorphins, it boosts your energy level, it keeps the blood flowing. Stay hydrated and eat clean. Fatty foods, greasy foods, things like that, it's just worse. It makes everything worse. It gives you more of a tummy ache. And so just it's a good habit to get into anyway is cleaner nutrition. So
Yes.
find what food you like and, just add more of that. Eat the rainbow, eat your fruits and veggies, eat stuff you like. Yeah,
Yes.
that helps a lot.
Excellent. I was hearing that some side effects could also include like shortness of breath, or I was talking to another woman who had this like persistent cough and she thought it was just allergies. Did that ever enter into how you were feeling at all?
I didn't notice. I just noticed the fatigue that I was, teaching indoor cycling classes and working out. And so shortness of breath, I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to be short of breath, I would rather it be because I'm making myself short of breath. And the same with the aches and pains. I'm like, if I'm going to be sore, I might as well be sore from lifting weights. It gives me this sense of empowerment that if I'm going to be sore anyway, might as well go for it. I did
Uh-huh.
notice the brain fog lifted after I was done. And it's really interesting because we're thrown into menopause. So you're like, is this chemo brain? Is this menopause brain? Is it mom brain?
Right?
What's happening? I don't know, but I don't know why I'm in this room right now. I don't remember what I was supposed to do. I still write everything down. I still put everything in my calendar. I still double confirm. And I don't know if I'm going to be like that forever, but I did notice after the Verzenio, I'd say almost immediately, like the next month, I just felt clear, like more clearer. And I
Yes.
was like, it's like the light got brighter a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sure
And
we've
I just
like
had more energy.
that's
Yeah.
great. I'm glad your energy came back, and that's also very helpful for people who are listening are like, "Okay, will these side effects immediately dissipate after I stop taking the drugs?" And it sounds like in your case, that was your experience, which is excellent. And I think there's that combination of, like, mental and physical of, like, "Oh, I got to my 2 years, I'm done taking this drug, I mentally feel better because I, like, got to the timeline and I can move forward." But then also the physical side effects that go away with that as well. So, amazing. Well,
Yes.
this was my, like, short, sweet, hot questions of, like, talk about Verzenio, so I appreciate you, Jen, taking a moment. Is there anything about the drug or your experience kind of you said that you are, a few years out now. Overall, how are you feeling?
I feel good. And I do want to say, because I'm in a lot of support groups, a lot of Facebook groups and things like that. I was in a Verzenio support group, and a lot of women decided not to take the drug because of everything they were reading. And one thing I am going to say is that everyone's different. And a lot of the people who post in those groups are having issues. The people who are not having issues are just living their lives. So please try it for yourself and see how it goes. And don't go off of someone else's experience or horror story. It's a great drug. I'm happy that we have these drugs to help us. Science works. And as we know. And so just trust your own journey and try not to listen to all the noise around you. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Excellent advice. I remember when Verzenio was only available to those living with metastatic disease. And then in your experience, right, like it gets approved to be indicated for early stage breast cancer or, advanced stage 3 breast cancer, et cetera. And so, you're absolutely right. Like the science is there. There's phenomenal drugs on the market that are there to, keep us alive, which is
Yeah.
the goal.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Jen. I really appreciate you taking the time on this like hot topic as we dive into all things Verzenio.
All right. You're welcome.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to our show. I would like to acknowledge that all of the information on our podcast is from personal experiences and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. You should always contact your medical care team. If you are looking for specific topics or would like to be a guest on our show, please feel free to reach out. My email is laura@survivingbreastcancer.org. Our show is made possible by our nonprofit, survivingbreastcancer.org, and by our incredible donors like yourself. You can hop on over to survivingbreastcancer.org to sign up for our mailing list, make a donation, and explore the 400+ programs we offer each year at survivingbreastcancer.org/events. Until next time, keep on thriving.